Hi guys, I wanted to look at the area of capital gains tax for a moment, and I just thought I would have a look at one of the previous ACCA questions. So Terry is widowed Irish tax resident who is domiciled in the UK. So my first point is, based on an individual's residency position, they're ordinarily resident and domicile. What are they subject to tax on? Because how can I, if I don't know what they're subject to tax on, how can I do a tax computation? I can't. So the first thing I would look at is I need to know within a couple of seconds what they're taxed on. So he's resident, he's domiciled, Irish gains and remittances. So if anyone would like that sheet or any of the other any other tax heads, email me taxaccgrinds@gmail.com, because you can't walk into an exam without knowing what they're taxed on, because it's just not something that you can do. So that's going to be based on your residency, ordinary residence, and your domicile position. His wife Maureen died in 2014, so we know there's no CGT on debt. So during the year 19, he sold the following assets. He sold an investment property in Dublin for 295. Very first thing I'm going to do is prepare your pro forma computation. So proceeds minus your disposal costs. Be careful with your disposal costs, because section 552 of our legislation talks about, it's quite descriptive in that it tells us what we can take as a deduction and therefore what we cannot take as a deduction. We also need to take away, well, it's a gain, so we need to work out my capital gains tax. So my proceeds are going to be 10, my cost is going to be 2, my gain is 8. Wonderful. That's the objective. So I need to compare the proceeds to the cost. And when I'm dealing with the cost, sometimes if it was bought a long time ago, then you're going to have to adjust it for inflation, or there's these things called multipliers, depending on the year of acquisition. Okay, so I need to indexation. There might be, I don't know, acquisition costs. There might be enhancement expenditure if you put on an extension or do it up or whatever. Actually haven't read the question, but we'll get there. Enhancement. Okay, so let's have a little look. So Terry sold an investment property in Dublin for 295. There you go. That's your proceeds. 295. The legal fees and professional fees on sale amounted to 4250. That's an allowable cost. It's 4250. So my net proceeds are going to be 290. Wonderful. I now need to know my cost to finish the question. Terry was gifted the property from his wife, Maureen, in July 2012. Okay, when the market value was 245. Brilliant. Thanks for telling me, but I couldn't really care less, because there's no CGT between civil partners or husband and wife. So what happens in that scenario is that the acquiring spouse, Terry, will acquire the asset at the original date and the original cost of acquisition that Maureen acquired it from. So I don't care about the market value. I don't care about when this happened. What I do care about is, how much did Maureen pay for it? Maureen purchased the property for 45,000 in May 1991. That's what I care about. So the acquisition cost is going to be 45,000. The indexation is going to be May 1991. And remember, the tax year used to go from the 6th of April. So it'll be 1991 to 1992 tax year. We'll pull that indexation factor up in a second. So you're always looking at the year. Can anyone remember when CGT came into play? When was CGT brought into Ireland? Well, I know that ABBA won. They're making a comeback, a virtual comeback. So it's kind of ironic. ABBA won the Eurovision with a song called Waterloo on the 6th of April 1974, and I guess one could say, to celebrate such an achievement, that the Irish government introduced, or the revenue commissioners introduced, a tax called capital gains tax. So it was introduced on the 6th of April 1974. So why am I telling you this is that you need to be mindful that if you had an acquisition prior to the 6th of April 1974, you bought something in the 1900s, then you always need to look at the market value on the 6th of April 1974, and you use that indexation factor 7.528. Okay, anyway, back to the question. So I need to look at my indexation factor for 1991, 1992. Brilliant. Legal and professional fees on the acquisition were 1,900. Okay, so it's going to be acquisition costs, and there was no enhancement expenditure. So I'm just going to go delete that for the moment. Terry used the proceeds of the sale to purchase a new home in Wexford. I don't really care what he used the proceeds for. And I'm assuming, well, because it's an investment property, it's not as PPR. So PPR relief is not going to apply in this example. Okay, so let's work out my indexation factors. And I think I opened it. So if I look at 1991, 1992, I get an indexation factor of 1406. What the indexation factors are for, they're just for inflation. I remember back in 1991, 1992, I was a little boy and I get pocket money of 50 cents. And I used to buy a bruiser and a fruit salad bar and a pack of Frosties and a Mars bar, a bottle of Cadet, and maybe a Snickers and the rest in penny jellies for 50p. Now, if I went to buy a little Freddo, it costs like €2 or 150 or whatever they are, you know, a word called inflation. I know with the price of petrol and the amount of tax and diesel and at the moment on it, it's crazy. So maybe I won't go there. I'll upset people. But if you remember the 6th of April, 1974, the introduction of CGT, please let me know. Or more importantly, if you remember ABBA winning the Eurovision, that's probably more interesting. So I'm just multiplying one by the other. So the cost is 45K. The index-based cost is 63. The acquisition costs are indexed at 2671. And so my proceeds are 290. My costs are whatever. I made a gain of 224. Remember that each person per calendar year has an annual exemption that they do not pay CGT on. So annual exemption, ANNULE. EXEMPV, and it's going to be 1270, an old Irish £1,000. So my taxable gain is going to be 223. So taxable, and I apply CGT. And the rate of CGT is currently, and has been for quite a while, a rate of 33%. So if I apply that, and I get a bill for Terry of €73,000. When is that payable? Well, that's going to be important to work that out. When is his bill actually due? And his bill is going to be due, well, it depends on when it was disposed of. Because if your disposal is between January and November, the 30th of November. So let me write properly, Aidan. Between the 1st of Jan and the 30th of November, let's say 21. You must pay the tax by the 15th of December, 21. If your disposal is in the month of December, let's say 1 December to the 31st of December, then you have 2021. You must pay the tax by the following 31st of January. So the 31st of Jan, 2021. And that's a common question, by the way. You know, it's always a mark in ACA, ACCA, ATI, papers that 2022. When is the disposal dates? Okay, guys, hope you found this useful. Anyone want any more questions done or examples in different areas, different taxes, different reliefs, or different, you know, even financial accounting, management accounting, whatever? Let me know. Happy to do anything that suits. Thanks very much, guys, and bye for now.